guys, welcome to my channel. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Caitlin, and we're gonna read some scary, creepy, spooky stories. Today, I wanted to read some Let's Not Meet stories because I think they are very scary and they remind me of, not remind me, but they make me think of my little sister. She's just left home to go to college, and it's the first time she's ever lived away from home, out of, our parents' house. And I always tell her to make sure she's aware of her surroundings, always, diligent on knowing what's going on, and not to ever, be too nice to people that she doesn't know. And I just wanted to read some of these stories because I think they're interesting. And, get to know you guys. Spend some time with you guys. Let's talk in the comments. Let's hang out. I got a little bit of time and wanted to make another video, so that's what I'm doing. All right, we're going to get started. Horror movie in real life. To put context to my story, I was having a sleepover at my best friend's house in summer 2019, like we always did. We were 15 at the time. She lives in a small village where everybody knows everyone. There was no weird people there, and it was a super safe place. Everyone was kind and friendly. It was about 10 p.m. and it was really dark outside. We were hungry and wanted to bake cookies, but they didn't have all the ingredients to do it, so we decided to go to the nearest convenience store. It was about a 5-minute walk in the dark because there was no real street light. We started walking towards the store, talking and laughing about literally nothing. On one side of the road, there was a huge church built at the end of the 1800s. It was abandoned, but they couldn't destroy it because it was historical. There's also a huge parking lot right in front that had small orange lights. On the other side of the road, the store we had to go into. When we passed on the sidewalk in front of the church, we heard a weird classical music playing. It was like a whisper. We turned our eyes to the parking lot, and there he was. I have goosebumps just thinking about it. There were no cars on the road. Nobody was outside. It was dark and cold. We saw a man, really tall and disgusting. His clothes were ripped, and he looked like he hadn't showered in months. He was dancing in the church parking lot, doing ballet figures to a classical song at 10 p.m. on a random summer night. When we saw him, immediately we changed sidewalks to be far from him. Our hearts were racing as we entered the store. We got our things, went to the cashier. She made us pay, and we were panicked, so we told her about the man dancing in the parking lot. She was confused and went to the window to look, but there was no one. We were even more scared when we got outside. Neither of us had cell phones, so we couldn't call her dad to pick us up. We took a deep breath and decided to pass by the neighborhood that was behind the convenience store instead of the main road in front, so our chances of seeing the man again would be lower. We started walking in the dark on the small roads with our bag. We were always looking around us. Once we reached the main street, we almost had a heart attack. The man was there, dancing on the sidewalk right in front of her house. We were panicking. I started crying as we walked back into the neighborhood. My friend told me that she knew some people from our school were living nearby and that we should go to their house. So we did. He didn't believe us at first and didn't want to walk us to her house. It was almost 11 and he looked tired, but I think he changed his mind because he saw us crying. So he put his shoes on and started walking us back to the main street. We told him what happened as we arrived to the sidewalk, and there was nobody. The man was nowhere to be found. He walked us to her front door, and we thanked him before entering the house and locking the door. We told our parents everything, and they just laughed at us, saying how we were being overdramatic, that it was one of the safest villages, and that we probably saw the wrong thing. We're both 19 now, and we still have no idea what happened that night. But we stopped going out when it's dark. We talk about it sometimes, and neither of us can explain who he was and what he was doing there. That is creepy. That's like literally like it's titled like a scary movie in real life. To see somebody dancing, doing like pirouettes or, I don't even know any other ballet moves, but doing ballet dances in the dark, looking, all tattered and disheveled and everything, and you're a young girl walking, first of all, dangerous. Don't walk in the dark alone, especially if you don't have a phone. Please don't do that. It's not the 70s and 80s anymore. You need a cell phone, and young teenage girls should not be, nobody should be walking alone. Male, female, anybody, doesn't matter. And then to have the person disappear, and then you look in there in front of your friend's house, that would make me think it wasn't a real person, that it was like something paranormal. And it would, come on now. No, thank you. I'm very sorry that you were scared, because I relate. I would probably cry too, not gonna lie. I think I try to be pretty tough, and I try to think that I'm tougher than that, but I'm really not. I would probably cry too. I'd probably call my mom, honestly, because you would not catch me without a phone, girl. Like, no. I need my phone. I need to be able to call the 911, need to be able to call my dad. Like, no, thank you. All right. Psycho neighbor. I only recently found this subreddit and very much enjoy the stories. This is my only let's not meet type story that I've actually experienced myself. I'm a young guy with a nighttime job living in an area of town that has gotten pretty sketchy the past decade or so. The police are here at least once a month to sort out some violent or drug-related crime. I'm a very routine-focused person, so for the past 8 years before going to work at 1:30 a.m., I always take my dog out for a walk around 1 a.m. In fall of last year, I went for the routine dog walk one misty night at 1 a.m. like I usually do. I made a right turn after exiting the gate, and just as I passed the corner of my apartment building, I noticed a fuzzy shape on the ground just outside the gate of the neighboring building. I stopped in my tracks and took in what I was looking at. I determined it was just a cat laying on its side on the pavement. I thought it was odd, but since I know my dog would most certainly bark at it and wake up the entire neighborhood, I chose to turn around and take a different route for the walk than usual. For the rest of this walk, I was reflecting on that cat. There was something very off about the cat just laying relaxed on the ground in the middle of the night with no people around. Once my walk had looped me back to the gate, I decided to turn the corner again and see if the cat was still there. Mind you, a full 15 minutes had gone by at this point. Sure enough, it was still there. Same position and everything. Now I thought this scene was even more odd. I took my dog up to the apartment, put my work clothes on, grabbed my car keys, and headed out. As I exited the elevator, the image of the relaxed cat laying outside was still in the back of my mind, perplexing me. Instead of going into the underground garage, I decided to instead go out of the main gate one last time to check if the cat was still there. I exited, turned the corner, and once again, the cat was still laying there. Since my dog wasn't with me this time, I just approached it this time to check if the cat was okay. When I got to it and looked down, I stared at it for a good long while. The cat wasn't breathing at all. It was dead, no question about it. I had my suspicions this might have been the case, so I wasn't entirely shocked, but something was still so off about it. A cat wouldn't just lay down in the middle of a paved sidewalk to die of natural causes, I thought. There was no noticeable blood on or around it, so I began thinking the cat might have jumped from one of the balconies. Just as that thought hit me, a raspy voice spoke to me from above. "Yup, there she is," the voice said in a very matter-of-fact type of tone. I got spooked and quickly glanced up. Through the mist, I saw a middle-aged woman on the 5th floor balcony leaning over the railing, looking down on me with the lit cigarette in her hand. When our eyes met, a cold shiver shot through the top of my scalp, all the way down to my toes in an instant. I may have misinterpreted her facial expression due to the fog, but I could swear she was smiling when our eyes met. Without responding, I immediately turned and quickly walked over to my gate. As I walked, I could hear her laughing. I practically sprinted to my car in the garage. Once I sat down inside, I considered whether I should call the police or not, as every aspect of what I had just witnessed gave me the impression that this neighbor of mine had killed the cat. I dialed the number but decided not to, as they might want me to stick around for questioning, which might get me late to work. So I went on with my night as usual, doing my best to forget about the incident for now. When I got home later, the cat wasn't there anymore. About a week later, I walked past a neighbor living in the same building as me. We had some usual neighborly small talk, but she interrupted herself to ask me whether I had heard about what happened in the building last week. I said I didn't. She told me that a woman on the 5th floor had thrown her cat down from the balcony in a rage because it peed on the living room carpet. The cat had apparently not died immediately. Oh, I don't want to read the rest of that. Police were called around 5 a.m. when another dog walker saw the cat. The woman had still been out on the balcony by this point, talking to the guy while he called the police. I believe the woman's other cats were taken away from her and she was fined a few $1,000s. She still lives there, and I sometimes see her leaning on the balcony railing when I'm walking my dog. I've never interacted with her after that, and I sincerely hope she never speaks to me again. That is terrible. That woman is terrible. I'm glad they took her other pets away because she doesn't deserve to have them. And that is very creepy that that somebody is living above you. Somebody's living in your vicinity that is capable of that. Usually I feel like that's not, I hate to say normal, but I don't know any other word for it. That's usually not normal. Usually if you're harming animals or you're capable of doing that and don't feel any kind of way about it, something's usually not right, you know? Yeah, I don't know, it makes me feel like serial killer vibes, you know what I mean? Like, that's terrible. And I hope she never talks to you again, and I am surprised that she still is able to live there. Like, I would think she would be evicted, honestly. I mean, if I were I'm forgetting all of my, if I were the landlord or the property management or the manager, whatever kind of it sounds like it's a condo, like a condo building, I would complain and start a petition for her to be fucking kicked out. Like, oh my God. Man tried to enter my house. I came home around 12 a.m. to the house I share with 4 roommates. When walking on the sidewalk, I noticed a man across the street facing the other side, seemingly doing nothing. I passed by and entered my house, locking the door, and went to the kitchen, passing one of my roommates on the living room couch. The hallway from the front door opens into the living room and then to the kitchen. When I left the kitchen, I saw a dark outline through the door window and stopped to focus my eyes. My couch roommate looked at me confused, as I had just stopped in my tracks. The outer door was open, and the man from across the street was looking in and then started turning the knob. As I heard the knob start rattling, I said something like, "There's a fucking guy at our door!" Right, my roommate got up from the couch, alarmed, and we together got closer to the door. I could see the man's face clearer now, pressed up against the door window. His face was blank. He had long, oily hair and pockmarks on his cheeks. His expression made me feel incredibly uncomfortable, as it seemed he was looking through us, with no recognition of us. My roommate called down to my basement roommate to make sure his door leading to the backyard was locked. I got closer to the man as he kept trying the handle to go upstairs and alarm my other roommate. When we came back down, the man wasn't at the door, so we peered out the window to see him standing in our walkway looking across the street again. Reflecting on this, I'm just happy I remembered to lock the door, because we'd often stupidly forget and spend the night with the door unlocked. I can imagine if the door was unlocked and had he stepped into our house, I wonder how this would have went. I think about how he would probably have walked through the hallway and my roommate on the couch would just see the stranger walk into our living room and scare the shit out of him. Most likely, this guy was drugged out by the way his expression was, but who knows what intentions he had. Let's not meet. Right. Like, I cannot. Literally. I lock my doors, like, religiously. I lock the deadbolt, the handle lock on the screen door, the inside door, the back, every door. I lock everything. I am super good at locking my doors, and I believe everybody, all of you, should lock your doors. Please don't ever leave your door unlocked. You don't know, like, number one, you don't want people coming in stealing your shit. Like, that's terrible. That's a violation. And even more importantly than that, you don't want somebody coming in just, being able to have easy access to your home to come and harm you and your family. Like, you don't know, you never know what people are dealing with, like a lot of people who are without homes or, on the street and stuff, they do struggle, a lot of them, with drug abuse and with, mental health issues that are undiagnosed. And you never know, like, somebody could just be, on a bad mix of things, and people can get hurt like that. And that's terrible. Let's not meet either. I don't want to look and see somebody staring into my goddamn house. Like, oh my God. Evening walk turned into being chased. Oh shit, dude. I would be dead. Like, if I got chased, I would be. If zombies happen, Lord help me, I would be dead, because I'm so out of shape. I can't run for a goddamn thing. Like, you would catch me. I got a good 10 yards. A good 10 yards and I'm over with. Sorry for my grammar. English isn't my first language. You're good. As well, typed on my phone. 3 years ago, I, 21-year-old female, went on a vacation with my family. We stayed in a hotel/resort right next to the beach. Every night, my family and me went for a drink or an evening stroll on the promenade. The promenade itself was always filled with a lot of people, especially couples enjoying a beautiful evening walk. On the third day, I couldn't sleep. My brother was still awake, but we had a flight early, so I didn't ask him to come on my walk. Now, before you think I was being stupid, it was midnight, I think, and still the promenade was filled with people. So I put on some loose pants and a shirt, nothing fancy, and went on a walk. Normally, I'm quite aware of my surroundings, especially at night. But since there were still so many people around, I put my earphones in and listened to some relaxing music. The walk started off great. I was watching the beautiful nightlife on the promenade and the other resorts. After 30 minutes, I went to sit on a beach to tie my shoelaces. In the corner of my eye, I noticed a man, as well, stopping and sitting on 2 benches from me. I didn't find it suspicious yet. I started to walk again and noticed the man get up as well and walk about 20 meters behind me. I slowed down my pace and put my earphones in my pocket. Good idea. I was getting suspicious, but wanted to know for sure. Again, I stopped and pretended to search something on my phone. He stopped as well. The problem with promenade is that it's one long line, so I had to pass the creepy man to get back to my hotel. Since I was still surrounded by people, I felt somewhat safe. In my head, I had the most genius plan to go down to the beach and hide behind one of the beach chairs. The beach was pitch black, and in my mind, this was the best solution. I started to speed up. The creepy man didn't match my pace yet. Then a big group of people passed by, and I made a run to the beach and hid. 30 seconds later, I saw him looking from the promenade in my direction. He was searching for me. I was hoping he'd give up. So just because you're surrounded by people, don't think you're safe. To the creepy man who stalked and chased me on Crete, let's not meet again. No, for fucking real, let's not meet again. And, dude, like, what is wrong with people? I've seen videos on TikTok and stuff of people, being chased by people they don't know, and they're recording it and stuff. What is going through people's minds that they're just, like, it's not a big deal to them? I would never chase somebody or search for somebody, or like, I don't care enough about people to do that. Like, something has to be going on. Something, the math is not mathing. Like, something is not there. That's terrifying. I'm so sorry. You're supposed to be on vacation and some weirdo is like trying to get you. No. Going to stop meeting people on Tinder. Female, 29, met a guy from Tinder in person who is 27. I had a weird feeling right from the start. Now I wish I hadn't gone. We decided to meet at a casino and walk around. He stared at me the whole time. I don't really know what I was doing hanging out with him, but I decided to a couple more times and was intimate with him. But I had a feeling like I didn't like it. Anyway, the creepy part is that he looked up all my information online, found out my address, who I live with, who my relatives are, where I went to school, and grew up. Fucking awful. And continued to terrorize me in any way he could, finding me on LinkedIn, calling me names in the comments of various posts, reading my entire blog from when I was 15 that I can't delete because the email is old. I managed to delete everything, and once I have money, I'm going to use that site Delete Me. This is the first time anything like this has ever happened, and I'm definitely freaked out. I also have no friends where I live, so it's made me feel really lonely. I wish no one had to experience this kind of anxiety. I'm never going to be able to have any public social media profiles. I have to hide everything. It's insane that someone from Tinder I met a few times would do this. I'm not going to be meeting people online anymore. Dude, that is nuts. And I don't, like, damn, dude, he was searching your LinkedIn and, like, looking up your mom and dad. Like, what did he say? Like, hey, I met your daughter on Tinder and we hooked up. I just wanted to let you know. Like, what is the point of that? I wish there was like more context of what he was saying and like more details, you know. I want to know the cheese man, but that's just me. All right. Strange man walked into my backyard and watched me from my balcony. No, thank you. Hey everyone, I don't post much on here, but I need to get out what just happened a few hours ago. This seemed like the place to put it. For some background first, I'm a 29-year-old woman. I live in an apartment in a sketchier side of my town, so I'm not unaccustomed to strange people pulling up and strange things happening. I've been through a home break-in, so I'm very hyper-vigilant when it comes to keeping myself and my home safe. I also smoke cigarettes, nasty habit, I know, but having cats and not wanting my house to reek like smoke, I'll walk out to my balcony to smoke. That's exactly what I was doing when this happened. I was sitting on my balcony smoking, just enjoying my night, when I noticed a car I've never seen before pull into the back parking lot of my apartment right by my balcony. I initially felt a bit off, but didn't want to come off as being the paranoid neighbor, so I kept sitting and smoking my cigarette. Then I hear footsteps making a beeline through my backyard. There's a large and burly man that I've never seen before walking briskly through my backyard. Again, I still don't try to make much of it because they might be here for my neighbor. My anxiety is definitely on alert, but not in panic mode. Until I realize he's going straight for my portion of the backyard. He then does something that is still freaking me out as I type this. He stops right in my backyard and looks up at me on my balcony, not saying a word. Now I'm in absolute panic mode. I audibly say, "Oh, fuck no." Spring up, slam and lock my balcony door, run to my upstairs bathroom, and dial 911. I listened to every sound from downstairs while I stood panicking in my bathroom, and truthfully, it sounded like someone was messing with my back door. I don't know for sure because I was in hypervigilance. I do know he was in my backyard for a few minutes because I was in my bathroom for several minutes until I decided to peek out my balcony window. I saw him walking to his car and getting in. That also tells me that I don't think he was there to rob me, but something more sinister. Luckily, he was lazy because, again, I live on the cheaper side of town, so you can imagine the quality of my doors and locks. Dude, I'm really hoping it was just some guy who was drunk or high and had the wrong house, but my gut is telling me otherwise. Regardless, I hope we never meet again. That is scary. Like, Dude, if I saw somebody that I don't know, that I've never seen before, and they were in my yard, well, it's happened to me before. That has happened to me before. And I naturally am a very confrontational person, so I said something to them, but it was in the morning. It was early in the morning. It wasn't dark outside. But to have a big, huge man like coming for you, and they see you and they're not like talking to you or explaining why they're there, that's creepy. And, you know, kudos to you for getting up and saying, oh, fuck no, not today, and going and calling 911, because that's what I would do. That is terrible. What is wrong with people, man? I don't get it. All right. There's one more that I want to read, and then we'll wrap it up, I guess. My friend and I were parked outside of my house. We got in a car chase. I, 22-year-old female, was parked on the side street of my house with my friend, a 21-year-old female. I live next to a dead-end road. The road faces 2 other houses, and all my neighbors parked their cars there. My friend didn't want to be rude to my family and block them in with her car, so she parked on the right side of the street so it would be easier for her to drive out and go home. My neighbor has a trailer, the kind you hook onto the back of your car. My friend lives with her parents, and she switches the cars that she uses pretty frequently. We were in her dad's old beater Toyota Camry. I didn't get out of the car immediately because I wanted to talk for a little while before I went inside. All of a sudden, my neighbor, which I hadn't yet realized at the time was my neighbor, pulled right up next to our car. He got out of the car and started walking towards our car. I know that we made the wrong decision when this happened, but we were afraid. It was after dark, we're both girls, and he's a heavy-set, bald white man, just to give you a description. So my friend reversed and got out of there. Her intention was to go to drive somewhere and wait 10 or so minutes before finally dropping me off, because she didn't want me walking inside alone while he was still there. I agreed, so we turned the street to leave. This is not what happened. What did happen was right after we turned, we saw another car. We just figured it was another car until we realized it was the same guy in the truck. We proceeded to drive across town trying to lose him. He honked his horn and turned the high beams at us and was driving up our ass the whole time. My friend somehow managed to not drive recklessly the entire time this was happening. She's an incredibly skilled driver. We called the police soon after he started chasing us, and my friend started driving over to the police station while we were on the phone with the operator. We pulled into the parking lot of the police station and he followed us in. We proceeded to drive in circles around the parking lot. About 3 or 4 times, he waited there on the other side of the parking lot to try and hit us with his car. He did this until an officer showed up and blocked him in. Then we both parked and started talking to the officer. Apparently, because we were in an old beater car and we were parked behind his trailer, he was convinced we were trying to steal stuff from him. He was still screaming when he was parked and the officer was talking to him. The officer told both of us it was a misunderstanding and told us to go home. We went back with me and my friend's mother to the police station to ask about having officers patrol the area for a while. I am currently in the house. This happened in the evening around 10 p.m.-ish. My neighbor got off with a warning and he's in the house next door. I don't think I'll be sleeping. Anyways, guys, sorry my card got full and I couldn't make an outro, and I'm pretty sure I got cut off from the ending of that story, but let me know what you guys think. Let me know, if you guys have had any experiences like that, and, if you enjoyed the stories from today. I'll be in the comments. I probably won't have that many, but let me know, and I look forward to hearing from you guys. And I'm going to be making an email, like I've mentioned, for anybody to share their stories with me if they'd like me to read them. Yeah, if you guys liked, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Play me in the background, listen to my annoying voice, and hang out with me. Don't forget to come back. See you next time. Bye.